Lanier's uniqueness begins with its relationship with Fairfax City. Lanier is one of 6 schools owned by Fairfax City. There are 4 elementary schools, 1 middle school, and 1 high school. The schools are owned by, as I said, by Fairfax City, but are administered to by the Fairfax County Public Schools. The relationship has some obvious advantages for us, all of them positive. First of all, there's a hometown atmosphere here that I think is unparalleled anywhere. Secondly, there are financial advantages to us. When there are some extra things that we need, we submit them to the school board for their consideration, and more times than not, they are granted to us. Recently, they just built a magnificent auditorium for us. I don't believe there's any middle school in Fairfax County that has one like it, probably not many high schools. And it is a facility that is designed for professional use and for not only for the school, but for the community as well.
One of the things that I learned very quickly as the area superintendent and working with the city was the close relationship that the town of Fairfax, the city of Fairfax, has with its citizens. It is very, very easy in the city for the communication to take place between the school, the government. There's an identity. Fairfax is an old town. It's a town that has tremendous pride in its accomplishments, and it has the uniqueness of having an identity that many of our communities struggle to find. But I think the biggest thing that I find is the pride they take in their different institutions and in their students and in their business community. It's a very close community that does an outstanding job in meeting the needs of providing services to its students and to its citizenry.
It's an exciting opportunity to be able to talk a little bit about the tremendous advantage of having a small community combined with a middle school. Our focus is on the 3 A's. The 3 A's are academics, the arts, and athletics. We in the city of Fairfax think that middle schools should have an outstanding program of the arts, academics, and athletics, and we strongly support that at Lanier. We've provided extra facilities, probably among the best in the county system, to ensure that our students have the best facilities available for both their academic programs and their athletic programs. We hope that you'll have an opportunity to visit Lanier and see the very fine facilities and program that we have for you.
I consider myself the head cheerleader, and I get a great deal of satisfaction out of sharing with the community and our administration about the good things that happen here in the name of kids by our staff, because it all begins and ends with kids. You have to reinforce the good feelings that they have. For instance, we have this time over 300 kids on the honor roll. There are over 200 kids in the National Junior Honor Society, so there are plenty of positive things that go on. We try to accentuate the positive things so the others get caught in the backwash and pulls it along with them.
Here at Lanier, we're continuing something called the Lanier Passport. This is a way of monitoring students' behavior. It's a way of improving students' behavior, and it's a way of helping students to focus on the goals at Lanier. Each student begins each quarter with 100 points on the passport. Any time that a student is not polite or is unprepared for class or is unproductive or is not rising to the expectations of the teacher in the school, teachers may say, "Let me have your passport," and teachers may deduct, for example, 5 points off of the passport for coming to class without your notebook and your homework. Students also have the opportunity to receive bonus points. So in addition to losing points for infractions, for things that they don't do well, students also have the opportunity to earn bonus points for extra activities, extra good behaviors that they exhibit. At the end of the quarter, all students who have 80 or more points on their passport attend a celebration passport party. I think a real important part of the passport is that not only do we reward students for good behavior, not only do we take off points and work to correct negative behaviors, but we also give students the opportunity to earn back points that they lose.
Welcome to Fairfax City Parent Link voicemail system. Parent Link serves Fairfax City's Superintendent and School Board, Lanier Middle School, Layton Hall Elementary School, and Green Acres Elementary School. Please enter a box number now.
Parents can call in and collect information from that, everything from grades, homework, the requirements taking place in the class, and when they receive the message, they can respond and leave messages for the teacher. It's become a very, very important link between teacher and parent. For a teacher to call and information for here would be 135 students. Now they can leave homework, they can leave individual messages, they can leave important things in a mailbox, and parents can pick up on that and get information at their own leisure. We find it very difficult sometimes to communicate both ways, parents to school and school to parents, when many times both parents are working. Teachers in the classroom teaching sometimes 4 to 5 straight hours. So it really opens up the time availability for us to communicate with parents on a day-to-day basis if necessary.
We have a parent orientation at the very beginning of the school year, and what we told parents there and what we want to continually tell them is that they have a huge part of their child's life in school, still in middle school, not just elementary. It doesn't stop. This is not the time to let go of your child. They're learning independence in the classroom and many other settings in life, but they still need you here just as often as you've been there before. And there's so many more exciting ways for parents to be involved now. We have parents who copy and help teachers. We have a whole concept called PAL, Parents at Lanier. At any time of the day, there's at least one parent stationed in this office area that can take care of any request that they have, from copying, from addressing envelopes for group mail-out, doing any kind of hands-on work that keeps the teacher in the classroom longer. We have one volunteer who covered for 12 weeks in our front office while a secretary was out for surgery. These people go above and beyond many times over. We have parents that serve as tutors on a weekly basis.
You add this to here.
Okay, to this side and to this side?
And this would be a positive.
No, that's a positive.
Yeah. It is
Yeah.
both. Okay.
We have a very large list of parents who will bake, buy, donate, bring materials for classroom activities, for food, for parties, all of the kind of aspects that add up to a middle school child's day.
Good morning. Welcome to WLTV. I'm Katie, and here's today's news. This is a TOPS announcement. This is Save the Sweetheart Week. TAs, decorate your doors. The theme is the prevention of tobacco use. Judging will be Wednesday after school. Time is running out. Thanks for your support. Happy Random Acts of Kindness Week. All this week we will be reporting on some special act of kindness going on at Lanier. This week is for everyone, teachers, students, custodians, secretaries, and even parents, everyone. So go out of your way to do something special, and not just for your best friend, but for lots of people. And now to Jeffrey.
Attention, all students from the drama department. All fashion-conscious folks, remember that date. Wednesday, February 21st, is the Winter Fashion Land. There will be a performance second period and a 7 p.m. night show. And now to a PE video.
Puny man. The little man. This man someday will become big like me. Massive. His name is Nate Jones. Come on, little guy. Come on, little puny.
And now to Vanessa with the weather.
Today's going to be partly sunny, and it's going to be cold though. Tonight we're going to have a clipper tonight, and that means there's going to be a lot of cold air, but there's going to be a little snow, so that means 2.5 to 3 inches of snow tonight. It's going to be highs in 35 and lows in the 30s. That's it for WLTV.
The block schedule has many advantages in that it does provide the teachers with additional minutes of instructional time every week over what they had before. We are only doing it right now with 3 of our 7th grade teams. The children have all their instructional needs met during the 5 periods that they're with their team teachers. So the children take English, history, math, science, and an elective wheel of 3 12-week courses during the course of the year. 12 weeks of art, 12 weeks of teen living, and 12 weeks of tech ed. And those 5 teachers that work with the students basically provide all of their instructional needs during the school day. The rotating part of it means that over the course of a 5-day rotation, the teachers would see each of their classes for an extended period of time during one of the days, and the time of day they see the classes would vary during the day of the rotation. Some of the advantages it's given us is the teachers can conduct extended activities during the block schedule. So it really gives the teachers planning flexibility. It gives the kids extended instructional time where they can do activities that take more than 47 minutes to conduct. Another advantage that everybody has expressed is the fact that the kids have 5 classes on their schedule, but in the rotating block, they only see 4 of their classes every day, and one of them is of extended length, either 2 or 3 periods long. So instead of having 5 classes to prepare homework and assignments for each day, the students only have 4 classes to prepare for.
If you're interested in sports, interested in what the black experience is like in the United States, these are really great books. He's an incredible writer, and I will read to you what we found out. Award-winning author Walter Dean Myers has secured a reputation as a versatile creator of fiction for children and young adults.
What we're doing in English class today is the same thing actually that our whole team is doing. And we've put together a team activity centered around the Walter Dean Myers teleconference. The students will be taking notes during the teleconference, and the method that they're using with the note-taking is a method that the reading resource teacher taught them in their social studies class, so that way we're reinforcing that skill that they learned in social studies. Afterwards, then, what they need to do is write an essay, a 1-paragraph essay based on the prompt. Watching the Walter Dean Myers teleconference today made me realize that a writer has a blank lifestyle, and they have to fill in the blank with an adjective, and we have an adjective bank up on the board for them to choose from if they can't come up with their own. And then they need to provide support for what adjective they chose. For example, if they chose a writer's life is a disciplined life, they need to come up with 3 reasons why they're saying that, and they can use quotes from Walter Dean Myers. And then, of course, they have to have a concluding sentence. And so then we're all going to grade their work and grade their notes and grade their paragraph.
Over the course of the next hour, as we get acquainted with Mr. Myers, you will have the opportunity to call in with any questions that you may have for him about him, his publications, or his profession in general.
One of the reasons they like to do it is, first of all, it gives them the opportunity to immediately interact with an author. This age group, they love to hear themselves, and they love to be able to hear themselves on TV, and they love to be able to see themselves on TV. We do a lot of filming in the class, actually, and showing them films of what they've done in class also. But first of all, they like to be able to hear themselves and hear their friends asking the questions on TV. And also there are some students that are interested in writing, and they may be developing that interest in writing as a career. So they want to know what different authors' experiences have been and how they've come to write their books, what got them interested in writing, why they write what they write.
Here at Lanier, we're putting a lot of effort forth into our geography program. Our principal, Mr. Walters, has secured for us the Nystrom teaching curriculum where we use hands-on activity of mapping. And what was happening today was the students were using an atlas, a map on their desk, pens, pencils, and a worksheet to get on hands-on mapping skills. And during the process, as I move around the room, I check their maps, find out where they're having difficulties with longitude and latitude, show them how to use the atlas. In history, we try to move geography into our curriculum, or at least I do, every couple weeks, so the kids keep hands-on geography. We also use current event articles, movies, video disc, and computer technology to help the students learn. In the past, as most of us were going to schools, we were handed a sheet and told to memorize the countries and the capitals, and never really got hands-on opportunity to work with maps. What you see here with the 7th graders is they're working in teams and groups, and they're actually exploring the world as they see it on a map in front of them. So they can draw on the maps, they can ask questions, they can use research materials, and they can get information. It's much more accessible to them. Okay, is Vancouver at 15 degrees north or 15 degrees south? Okay. Here's Vancouver. You've already circled it, so it's 15 degrees south. So you would circle 15 degrees south. Since the United States is a global country, both with its economy, politics, army, it's important that the students have a good working knowledge of other countries around us, with the different cultures and languages, and especially with our economy. Another interesting part about the 7th grade class is the majority of students in this class are ESL students, and the knowledge that they're getting about their own countries from our standpoint, that is the American view, is helpful for them to become part of our society.
I don't care if you get out your history spiral or pencil or paper, but you're going to need it, because after we see some of the laser disc shows, we're going to divide up, and there's going to be 3 different things going on. The person that you're going to hear singing a song called Living in the Promised Land was part of the protest movement, part of the protest singers. He has a very distinctive voice. What I want you to do as we play it, and if you guys will pull up Living in the Promised Land, where it says Get Show, if you'll do that, I want you to listen. What is he singing about, and what does it mean? And now if you'll push play.
It's not perfect, but it is America, where the whole point is there must be room for everyone.
Give us your time and wait, and we will make them strong.
We're currently studying immigration and the turn of the century, and we're talking about all of the people who came from all over the world to become new citizens of the United States. And what I try to do in history is relate the past to the present. We want to try to make it real for kids. We want kids to feel real images about the past, and we want it to relate to them. And so what we're doing is using Laserdisc, using computers, using new technology to bring information into the classroom that helps students look at laws, regulations, journals that immigrants from the past have written, as well as up-to-date modern scenarios of immigrant experiences at the present time. The idea is to help students not only understand what went on at the turn of the century, but also help them to develop an understanding of what's going on currently with their own classmates, and help them to take a look at their role as a member of society. Stop it right there. Freeze it. I'm going to freeze it right with his face. Okay, now what I want you to do right now is write down Living in the Promised Land. And before we have a chance to talk about it, I want you to respond in 2 ways. First, what do you think living in the Promised Land means to an immigrant? And then second, I want you to write what living in the Promised Land means to you. One of the things that we do here at Lanier is we emphasize students' learning styles. We take a look at how teachers teach, teachers' learning styles, as well as how students learn. And we know from research, and we teach our children here about their own individual ways of learning. We know that we're auditory, we know that we're visual, we know that we're hands-on learners, we know that we learn more when we're actively involved. So what we do is we offer a wide variety of activities so that regardless of where a student's strength is, they can find success. When you put all of this together and offer a variety of opportunities, what you have is kids who are excited about learning, you have kids who do homework, You have kids who pay attention in class. You have kids who are interested in what you're saying, pay attention for the long haul, and then hopefully even go home and talk about some of these experiences. So the old chalk and talk method, that's not going to work anymore. We're competing with MTV, we're competing with all the technology that kids have at home, and I think it's very important that education and what we offer be stimulating, be exciting, and be relevant. And students see technology as stimulating, exciting, and relevant.
What we're going to do is we're going to select the behavior that Andy is going to teach Naomi. But he can't use his hand or any head motions, okay? And you can't use the correct words because your animal or trainee can't understand the words that you're using. You know, like we talked about, we say the lion jumped through the hoop. Lions don't know jump through the hoop. So we're going to use terms like zorch, okay, which means yes, okay? Now you're going to reward her with one piece of popcorn every time she does something correct. Working with 7th graders, it's very important to understand that they like hands-on activities, and they tend to be able to pick up activities much more quickly if you do them hands-on. Besides reading, they can also do hands-on activities so that we can provide for many kinds of learning. I'm doing a culminating activity dealing with animal communication. We watched a short segment from a program produced by GTE, Scientific Frontiers, starring Alan Alda, and it dealt with primate communication. And what we were doing is attempting to communicate utilizing non-English language and a reward system to attempt to have people do activities like an animal might.
Zorch, oh yeah. Oh.
In all aspects of animal communication or just animal activities, reward system, working with humans or non-humans, reward system seems to work. So we were utilizing popcorn as a method of getting the idea across that this was a reward system and that animals tend to buy into, just as humans do, a reward system, and food is a reward system, so I was utilizing popcorn. We also did an activity, we watched another segment of Scientific Frontiers dealing with a young girl who had cerebral palsy, and this young lady was unable to communicate with anyone. So they devised a method of eye communication where they were using an alphabet board. I am attempting to have the students do that eye communication so that they can see what nonverbal communication would be like.
Tech Ed has changed, the paradigms have changed a lot in the last 5, 6, 7 years. It's basically created problem-solving skills. Instead of coming in and giving the kids a definite plan to do, everybody does the same plan. Everybody in this class gets a chance to show their creative skills, creative ability, and their problem-solving skills. The makeup of the class, I have a 12-week class. I have every student who comes through the school in 7th grade here. They're in this class for 12 weeks, and we get every kid who comes through, boys, girls, so there's no difference between whether we're so many girls, so many boys. Every girl in 7th grade takes Tech Ed, and every boy in 7th grade takes Tech Ed. The kids will have to do a drawing with auto sketch, that they use that, and then they do a preliminary sketch also, and they use this to construct a vehicle that will carry an egg down a ramp without the egg breaking. The materials required in this project is listed. They have X amount of materials. They have one piece of wood. It's 12 inches long, 4 inches wide, 3/4 inch thick. They get that. They get 2 front wheels, 2 back wheels, 2 axles. They get an ice cream stick. They get 12 inches of string, and they get 4 finishing nails. That's the materials and the only materials they're allowed to use on the projects. The way the kids are evaluated on this, they have a hand-drawn sketch, they have a computer drawing sketch, completion of the vehicle according to the plans, and then the distance traveled and whether or not the egg breaks is the way they're evaluated on the grade. Okay, guys, if you go all the way to this line right here, this is your soda line. If you go to this line is the candy line, and back over here is the A line, the B line, the C line, and the D line. So if you go all the way to the soda, you get soda, candy, and an A. You get all three.
Oh man, that eggs, the eggs cracked.
If you listen to instructions, there are 8 quarter notes, 2 measures per scale degree. I'm going to accelerate and slow down. You need to watch. Do not look at anything but this hand and respond to what I do with it. Here we go. Ready. Now, music program at Lanier is a very active program. We work very closely together, band, orchestra, and strings. We have roughly half of the school enrolled in performing groups at Lanier. The larger group that was rehearsing this morning was the Lanier Advanced Band, also called Symphonic Band. This is the top performing group at Lanier. We started this morning by doing scales on repeated quarter notes, and the idea is getting the students to watch me, not watch the music, so that I could begin to do some things expressively with them. We tuned certain portions of the band that would have solo parts. The tuning device that I use today, that's a brand new device that I've just purchased. It's neat in that it really gives the students an immediate visual feedback into whether they're sharp or flat. When they're in tune, when these 2 little arrows surround the green dot in the center. And if they're sharp, then you just have the arrow off to the one side, and if you're flat, you have the arrow off to the other side. So you have to either, you have to adjust either by pushing or in or pulling out your tuning slide to make your instrument more in tune. The neat thing about this particular device is you can play any note without having to tune dials, and it will automatically tune that note for you. And then we began to work on a piece entitled 3 Folk Miniatures, and this is a piece that we may be doing at District Band Festival. And we worked on intonation, playing together, and allowing me to move the pulse, speed up and slow down so that I could bring out the expressive qualities within the piece. And that's why we did that type of exercise at the beginning of class. The arts are important because they give the child a balanced education, one that doesn't stress the academics as much as it does working together as a team. And I think in this day and age, learning to work with other people, learning that what they do is important in terms of the overall product, again, that's extremely important. Plus, it gives the students an opportunity to express themselves creatively from the soul, as opposed to, the more set in stone things like in English or mathematics. This uses different qualities and brings different qualities out of the student.
We're the Lanier Power Team, and we go around to the 4th graders to teach them about peer pressure and saying no to it and how to deal with it. And we're part of the Substance Abuse Prevention Program of Fairfax County. And we just did that dance to give the kids an example of peer pressure because it is a pretty stupid dance, and the kids really don't want to do it, but they get up to do it because we're telling them to, and it gives them an example of peer pressure and how to deal with it and how to say no.
We like to talk about when we get up in the morning that, there's no hesitation to put the key in the ignition, because we come here to a very positive atmosphere. The staff is extremely positive. The parents are just absolutely superb in their support of the school. And 99% of the kids do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. It is a great place to be.